Hey y'all, this is Philippe the Learn to Grow guy. Today we're going to talk about a very important topic. I know every topic is important, right? Every topic is important. Okay, so anyway, today's topic is going to be weeds. Are they your friends? Are they your foes? Are they something you should be getting rid of? Well, here's what I did, okay? I'm going to show you the front of my cabin. This is the front of my cabin where I live at, okay? Now look, if you can look on this side, guess what? Lots of weeds. If you look on that side, again, lots of weeds. And I guess you can say the Latin name for them is Weedus disgustus, but they're not all disgusting weeds, okay? Now, same with here. All of these weeds, everything is classified as a weed. They're not what you think. Even though our famous Uncle Sam is trying to tell us to get rid of these weeds, and of course they're supported by the pharmaceutical industry in one way or another. So what we're going to do, we're going to take a look at a few weeds so that you can determine whether they're foe or friend, okay? It's going to be up to you. And a couple of things. Number one, I'm not going to be using scientific names for the simple reason that I don't want to look like a fool trying to pronounce a bunch of stuff that may not necessarily be good. If I remember, I'm going to put in the notes below a link to a video where this newscaster was trying to pronounce a bunch of names and he flopped at him big. So I got to give the man credit. He did a good job in trying, okay? So therefore, you're not going to get scientific names from me, okay? It's going to be up to you to look stuff up. Number two, I'm not going to tell you that I'm a doctor. I'm not going to tell you that I'm a herbologist or whatever the terminology may be. But what I'm going to tell you is this: do your own research on everything that I will point out to you today, okay? Do your own research, because if you decide to use them for whatever reasons, you got to remember, everything falls back on you, okay? Do your own research, but I'm going to share with you a few things. First one up, dandelions. As you can see, it's got the little seed thing up and going. This one here seems to be a flower, but these flowers seem to be maturing. You see the leaves down there and everything, okay? This one is dandelion. What is dandelion good for? Well, dandelions are good for liver support. They're a good detoxifier. They're good to help you in digestion. What else? They're good diuretic. They're good at helping to lower cholesterol. And here's the kicker. You ready for the kicker? It's been said that they are good for fighting cancer. In addition, there was back in Chicago, we had a guy come to our church to talk about health and such like that, using natural remedies. And the dandelion is actually one of the plants or herbs that he says that he uses in helping fight AIDS to people who were AIDS victims back in the day. Now going to the second plant. This is it right here, but we're going to go to the other side where they are more abundant, okay? Over here, this one is called the Virginia pepper grass, okay? Virginia pepper grass, all right? It's got very small elongated leaves. I'm not sure if you can see them or not. Let's see. In this case here, the leaves are turning green, okay? There's a good example of a leaf right there. All right, but nonetheless, if you look at them, you see that? You see what all they have? All these little things here, those little dot things become seed pods. All those can actually be used as a pepper replacement, all right? The roots can also be used as a, what's that thing called? Horseradish replacement. But my mother told me when I was younger that this plant was actually used to help fight cancer back in Haiti. Okay, some people use it for that. Now the Virginia pepper grass, it is anti-asthmatic. It's good for helping with scurvy, all right? That means that if it's good for scurvy, that means that it's rich in vitamin C. It's also help get rid of intestinal worms. It also soothes rashes. Okay, there is a lot of use for this plant. Again, my recommendation to you is do your own research. Okay, next one we're going to is right there next to it. It's called red clover. As you can see, bees and butterflies, they all love it. Okay, they all love it. Okay, now see that there's more butterflies on the red clover. Red clover can be used for a lot of things. Okay, both the flower and the flowers, you can actually put them both in salads for something to add to your salads. Red clover is also good for digestion. And keep in mind that everything I'm telling you about this red clover here, It also applies to the regular white clover, okay? But typically the red clover seems to be a little bit more potent than the white one, okay? So this is also good for menopausal symptoms. It's good for skin health, cardiovascular. Yes, cardiovascular. It's good for bone density, which means that older women will probably like that as well, okay? It's also a blood cleanser. Now, the white one is a blood purifier, okay? If you have blood issues and you're trying to cleanse your blood out and all this other stuff, you're trying to purify your blood, clover would be a good thing for it. Again, I am not a doctor. I am not a herbologist or whatever the proper terminology is. Please make sure you do your own research, okay? Now let's move on to the next one. All right, see, that's cicada. I can't stand those things, actually. Okay, this here is goldenrod. I'm going to take you to the other side where there's a greater concentration of goldenrod. And that is right here. All of these are goldenrod. Goldenrod is good for, it's an anti-inflammatory. It's good for urinary tract. It's good for wound healing. It's also a good decongestant, okay? Guys, study this particular herb. Goldenrod is very good for you. But again, do not take my word for it. I want you guys to go out and do your own thing, okay? Now, we're going to move on to the next one. Or make that ones plural. This here is called moth, okay? It's called moth Mullin. It has some of the same properties as your regular mullein, you know, the big stuff with the big leaves. I'm going to take you to mullein in a moment. Let's take you to some mullein. Okay? This is mullein right here. Okay? This is mullein. It's got very soft leaves, big soft leaves. You can also use them for toilet paper, in my opinion, if you're out camping and you don't have toilet paper. I would use them for that as well, okay? But both of them are good for respiratory ailments, whatever you may have, which means that it's good for coughs, colds, asthma. You can also use it for earache, diarrhea. Again, look up these herbs, okay? Look them up and take a look and see what it is that God has provided for you. In this area here, all I did was that I just did not plant anything in these two areas, and God has provided whatever it is that's in there, okay? Now, I'm going to take you to something else back on this side. Elvis made a song about this particular herb. It's actually a green. This one is called, you ready for it? You ready for it? Let's do the Elvis song, okay? Elvis's song was called, what's that? Poke Salad, I believe it is. You can look that up online too. Once upon a time, they used to actually sell this as if it was, what is that, collard greens, how they sell that in a can. If you go to the stores, you can find greens in a can. Well, they used to sell this stuff the same way. But for whatever reason, our Uncle Sam decided that, nope, we're not going to let them eat it anymore. And we're gonna make sure that people do not have access to it. Well, this thing here, this pokeweed, is good for arthritis, it's good for anxiety, and it's also good for cancer. Cancer? Therefore, it's been outlawed? Interesting. So, I've got a neighbor. This stuff here will actually, people have eaten the young leaves in the spring, like now, but in the fall, what this is going to do is going to produce heads of some dark purplish black berries. And I have a neighbor. What my neighbor actually does is that he takes the berries, he freezes them, and in freezing them, he's able to swallow them whole whenever he has a need for them. He uses it to help fight his arthritis. The key thing is that if you're going to be doing some of that stuff, do not chew the berries. He swallows the berries whole because the seeds will make you sick, okay? To what degree, I'm not sure. It may just upset your stomach, but nonetheless, you know, that's not what you want to do. You want to swallow the berries whole. But again, I'm not a doctor. Do your own research. This one here is known as lambquarters, okay? Typically in the back of lambquarters, you're going to see this little powdery thing on the back of the lambquarters, okay? Some people call them duck's feet, and there's other names that people call them. But this stuff here tastes like mild spinach. I've actually eaten these raw. I put them in salads. I've also, stir fried some of these, and they're pretty good. Now, as far as what they're good for, good for as an anti-inflammatory. They have just such properties. They're good to aid in digestion. They're good for diarrhea. They're good for skin. Okay. They're also rich in vitamins. Guys, what I'm going to urge you to do is that to look up everything to see what's the best way to use them, because everything is not edible. Mullin is not for you to consume, for you to eat. Goldenrod is not for you to eat. Okay, there are things that you should not be eating. Okay, so that's why I'm asking you again, do your own research to make sure that you're going to use these products the way they're intended to be used. Now, there are some things, the things I mentioned to you that I've eaten before, except for the red clover. I've not eaten those yet, but I know people who has, and I'm just kidding, they don't have that twitch. Okay, that was very sick of me, okay. Anyway, I know people who have consumed them and stuff like that. You can actually buy clover tea. There's even clover honey you can actually buy and such. So guys, what I'm saying is that look up, research how to properly use them. You may be able to use some in some teas. You may be able to, just like plantains, you got two types of plantains, not the green fruit thing from the Caribbeans or what have you, but the weeds called plantain. There's two types. There's a broad leaf and there's a narrow leaf. Those are good for bee stings. Some people actually use the young ones for the young leaves. They cook them as greens, but nonetheless, I'm just trying to tell you there's a variety of ways you can use a lot of things that's classified as weeds. And I guess the question is, why is it that our Uncle Sam, as well as the pharmaceutical companies, decided that they're going to identify those things as weeds, as stuff to be annihilated, to be gotten rid of? Well, that's for you guys to take a look and try to study and find out more about. But otherwise, I think I've covered everything. Oh, that's one I forgot. Okay, I'm going to take you to it right now. Can y'all identify this one? We talked about it before. Came from Virginia. Can be used as pepper. And it's also called grass. I'm not saying you can use it to get high. But anyway, this is comfrey. The variety of comfrey I have here, even though it flowers and there's tons of bees that comes to it to how you say, get some of the nectar from comfrey and all. Comfrey is also called bone knit. The old timers call it bone knit because if you had a broken bone and you actually smash this stuff up, wrap it around your broken bones, it actually accelerates the healing process. Okay, comfrey has also been chickens love them. Excuse me. What I'm saying is that your animals love them. When I say animals, I'm talking about like your chickens, your rabbits, or whatever pets, not pets, but livestock on your property that you have. They love the stuff. What comfrey typically does is that, keep one thing in mind about comfrey, it can be invasive. Okay, you put a little bit in and it could multiply. See, look at the bottom here. You see that? It can multiply and produce, those are just leaves, but nonetheless, it can produce a lot of plants from the root systems. Okay, now, this is not the one that actually produces the seeds upon pollination and gets spread out everywhere. This one you gotta cut off pieces and spread it out around that way. So anyway, this stuff is good for pain relief. It's good for skin issues. It aids in wound healing, as I mentioned before, especially with the bones. But like I said, your animals on your property are going to love it too. Okay, so there's a lot of stuff growing out here, and bottom line is that everything that is classified as a weed by a government does not mean that we have to try to eradicate it. Study up on them. Okay, there are apps out there that you can actually download that will actually, where you can take pictures of the leaves, the flowers, or what have you, and those pictures those particular apps can actually help you identify what it is that you have on your property, what it is that you have that you can actually use, and how you're able to use them. Okay, but it's up to you to research them. All right, I'm only pointing things out to you. And I'll try to remember to put that link to that guy trying to pronounce all those complicated names. And he looks like a fool. Well, he doesn't look like a fool. He tries, man. I got to give the man credit. Okay, y'all take care. This is Philippe, the Learn to Grow guy. Be sure to like, subscribe, and share. All right? Thanks.